so I want to talk about Belal Muhammad capturing the welterweight championship and what the welterweight division will look like now. I'm actually not a huge Belal hater. I understand that he does some stuff that's cringe, that's corny. I'm kind of just indifferent to him, if that makes any sense. I don't mind him as a champion. I hope that he's a little bit more active than Leon was, but I want to see him put on some entertaining fights, man. I know that usually he's known as the split decision guy, but if you look at this Leon Edwards fight, there were moments, I will say, that were kind of boring, but for the most part, it was an entertaining fight. He pushed the pace. He was kind of outstriking Leon at some points, which is crazy to think about. Say what you want about Leon checking out of fights, that could have been the case here as well, because it just looked like he didn't want to be in there. Leon, that is. But Belal looked good, and the question that came to my mind first is not how he will operate as a champion, but how the rest of the division will look now that he is the champion. Because I don't know if you guys know this, in the top 10, he's already cleared or beat a lot of the guys in there. The matchups that are the most fun to me, and I think a lot of people would agree with me here, are Shavkat Rakhmonov, JDM, and honestly, this one might be a little bit of a hot take. I don't mind seeing Usman, if he strings another win together, getting a shot. So I'm checking the welterweight rankings right now. We've got Kobe Covington at number 4. Is that a snooze fest of a fight? Maybe not. So you could throw Kobe Covington in the mix. His last fight against Leon was fucking atrocious, though. Gilbert Burns, Belal already beat. You got Ian Machado, Gary right there. Sean Brady, he beat handily. Stephen Thompson as well. Jeff Neal. I mean, as you start to get out of the top 10, there's less and less compelling matchups, and that's kind of the problem that I'd see really befalling him, is not how exciting he is as a fighter or as a personality, because I actually think that he showed a little bit more charisma and a little bit more humor in the lead up to this one. Like, there was points that Belal was actually making me laugh. So I say all that to say, I don't necessarily think he will be a boring champion. I think he's going to be far more active than Leon, and that's kind of sad that, like, that's one of the criteria we have to factor into when talking about a good champion these days, is how active they're going to be, because they should be active. You should want to prove you're the best in the world by defending your title against so many different people, against whoever wants to step up and face you and who's ever on a win streak at the moment. I mean, Ilya Taporia, Leon Edwards, man, who else? Jones at heavyweight. I mean, that's been a whole thing. That's been a whole saga. It does put things in perspective when you think about guys like Izzy, when you think about guys like Kamaru Usman, who were so willing to step up and fight anyone. We really were spoiled, and we took them for granted when we had them. And I could see Belal kind of falling under those auspices. But yes, now Belal is the champion, and I think he might become a crowd favorite. Now, the big thing, again, that worries me is after you get outside of those 3 or 4 matchups you have for him, can you make entertaining fights? Because it's not always about the guy, right? Belal does, again, get a lot of shit for being boring, but you have to have 2 guys that are equally participating in the fight buildup and the fight itself to make a fight interesting. And what I saw was that Belal was doing way more of the heavy lifting, both in the fight and before the fight, than Leon was. I think he's going to get unfairly blamed for a lot of different things, when in reality, you look at welterweight right now, it's not the most ideal setup for him as a champion. I also think it's tough because he doesn't have the pull right now, so that people would want to see him go up a weight class and challenge at middleweight or go down to lightweight. I just don't think that that's an opportunity unless he's really, again, I mean, listen, one performance can change everything, but unless he puts on some masterclass against Shavkat and really generates some hype behind his name, I can't see the UFC viewing that as an entertaining or as an attractive option. I do wonder if Belal will be able to kind of win over some fans. He has a charm to him. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that so many people have been hating him for so long that they're starting to come around to the idea of liking Belal. Admittedly, I haven't seen that many interviews with him. He does kind of have an annoying voice, an annoying aura. But besides that, man, the guy's solid. He's a hell of a fighter. And again, that Sean Brady fight was fun. This Leon fight would have been more fun if Leon actually decided to engage him. These things, I think you have to take into account. And I want to know your guys' opinion too, so put that down in the comments if you think I'm wrong or you think that, Shavkat's going to come in and absolutely wipe the floor with him. Because Shavkat as a champion, I think, would be sick. He hasn't really faced, outside of who? Jeff Neal. He's faced Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I mean, there's a lot more interesting and compelling matchups for Shavkat than there are for Belal, because Belal, to his credit, has been cleaning up the division for a while. That's what happens when you don't give a guy a title shot and you have him face the who's who of the division. I know I'm not saying he's been mistreated by the UFC, but the business is the business, and I don't think he's really moving tickets the way that they would like. So I saw Dana, he wasn't exactly thrilled either at the post-fight press conference. He said,
wasn't a barn burner.
But you know what? I take it a step further and I say I'm happy for Belal. I think he deserved a championship. Obviously, again, you can't really, there's the business side, so you can't just be boring all the time. He has to work on that. He has to work on becoming more charismatic, perhaps suiting his game or his fight style to be more entertaining, but still to achieve the results that he wants, to kind of win some of the crowd back. But listen, you can't argue with results. That man is a certified G, and he's got a very, very effective style. Clearly elite, clearly world class. And I wonder which matchup they're going to do next. My best guess, probably Shavkat, but we'll see who they decide to go with. What do you think of Balal as champ? Chicago and Palestine, stand up. You've got yourself a champion. Without further ado, guys, that's been the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. It has been your boy, the combat consultant, the soundboard god, Jacob Cooperman. And I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.